Hello YouTube, Hiker Daniel here. Today I bring you an obscure story from the long forgotten past of 2005. Back then the only known gameplay demo ever released to the public by Nintendo on a DS cartridge was released, Metroid Prime Hunter's First Hunt. Now, this demo was bundled with the original DS model in 2004 in the US and 2005 in Europe, and that's where I live. This was before Nintendo decided they were going to aim for the casuals with the DS. Yeah, before the launch of the DS and before the DS did this, most people were thinking that the DS would fail. Sony would launch the PSP in the near future and that thing was way more powerful and it would have a ton of great looking games on it. So Nintendo had to prove that the DS could rival the PSP. And what better way to do it than by putting one of your most power demanding franchises on the system and to show that it could run on the DS to set aside the worries of all the hardcore gamers. And thus the idea for Metroid Prime Hunters was born. It was a game for the DS, and now when they announced it, and even after showing the game run, people were skeptical about it, as the DS definitely did not seem fit to play a demanding first-person shooter game. So Nintendo decided to bundle a demo for the game, Metroid Prime Hunters First Hunt, with the first releases of the original DS, to show people that the game could, in fact, run on a DS. Now, this demo being bundled in free led to some problems later down in the DS lifespan. When the actual Metroid Prime Hunters launched, people used black markers to erase the words First Hunt and the yellow brackets around it, and then sold the demo in the case of the real game for high prices, while retaining the real game in their own collections. As you see in the picture of my copy, this is extremely easy to do, and to be fair, Nintendo did think of this by giving the actual Metroid Prime cartridge a colored background. But still, people were easily fooled at yard sales and other opportunities to buy games secondhand. When they thought they had the real game, they ended up with a demo, while they just parted with considerable amounts of money. Unfortunately, I never picked up the original DS model with the demo bundle in it. Instead, I got a DS Lite later in the DS family's lifespan, thus I never got to play this demo when it launched, and I have to rely on Google Images to show you the actual bundle. But I recently picked up the demo secondhand for my collection and I decided to give the demo a try. The demo starts with a quick cutscene showing off Samus on two screens. Then you get to the menu, where you get the choice between the single player training, which is the main mode of this demo, a multiplayer mode that I cannot play because I don't have friends, and options. Now the main mode, training, consists of three sub-modes, the first one being the mode regulator. This is essentially what the demo is all about, as this is a full practice Metroid level that has you face off against enemies in 12 different rooms. You need to kill all the enemies before being able to proceed to the next room, and in the final room you face off against a green Samus clone. The idea behind this mode is that it's a holographic arena in which Samus in her first hunt tries to practice for the real game when she has to go to actual hunts. Now, the training has two other modes, the first one being Survivor. In it you're stuck in a level called as the Assault Cradle, where you have to face off against an endless horde of enemies that grows stronger as you fight on. The longer you survive, the more points you get. The final mode in training is a minigame, where you practice controlling the Morph Ball. You follow a track and you need to collect as many modules as possible, as fast as you can, in the timer that you're given. The faster you do it, the farther you come, and the more models you collect, the more points you end up getting, and you get ranked higher on the high score list. Now, if you manage to break the high score list, the demo rewards you by letting you view a trailer for the final game, which is pretty awesome, but at the same time pretty underwhelming. Now, next there's the multiplayer. As I said before, to play the multiplayer you need friends, and I don't have any friends that have this demo. However, the multiplayer has up to 4 players to face off against each other, and there are 4 different levels to face off in. These levels are all early versions of levels that will appear in the final game, although they do contain some key differences with later levels, but the basic level design stays the same. All in all, this demo is pretty cool, especially for the DS. Back in the day it would have been real cool, as you get to see parts of the game before its release and you get some fun little distractions. And what I've heard from the multiplayer, it can be pretty fun, but then again I haven't been able to try it due to a lack of friends owning this demo. Now, while most people regard Metroid Prime Hunters to be a mediocre, even sub-tier Metroid Prime game, I think it's alright, especially considering the hardware it runs on. I mean, it isn't perfect, especially the controls are in my opinion pure garbage. The best way to experience Metroid Prime, in my opinion, is with a controller and a TV screen. But once you're used to the controls, there's a lot of fun to be had in the full game. Now the demo, I don't think it's worth your time nowadays. If you want Metroid on the DS, the full game is only a few bucks more to pick up second hand these days. The demo is only really something for the collector nowadays, who wants obscure things like this in his or her collection. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, maybe consider returning for the next one, and if you did not, well, it's been fun. I need to go back to Route 205 to wait for the moment a Pokemon trainer shows up so I can harass him with my weak Rock-type Pokemons. See you later.